Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to podcast 2, season 3 of the Blue Collar Workers. And what a week, a 10-day have we had as we are filming here on this frosty Sunday morning of January.
Frosty? Wet, 11th. Not frosty.
Wet, cold 11th of January. It's been quite frosty the last couple of days here in Britain. As always, we are your voice, your nation, Blue Collar Workers. I am, as always, John, Sean, or Jochen, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris.
Today we're going to be talking about America and her geopolitical manoeuvres that have realistically endangered NATO. I mean, there's no other description for it. I mean, we're not just talking about the attack on Venezuela, we are talking about the continual insistence that Donald Trump has said about Greenland. I mean, these are unprecedented times that we live in. And I'm frightened our country, Britain, is in a rock and a fucking hard place. At one point, we geopolitically are very aligned to America, but sociopolitically, we're very aligned to Europe. We are in a fucking rock place. The US actions in Venezuela, the Trump administration's capture of the Venezuelan leader, Nicolas Maduro, has promoted significant discussion, both in the US and outside the US, about these unspecific times and temporary intent to run Venezuela and his intent across the entirety of Greenland. I mean, these are difficult times to perceive. I mean, I think we're looking at the end of Europe and America's alliance.
You mean it was already coming to an end anyway?
Well, no, we thought that, but we didn't think it would come to an end this abruptly. You know what I'm saying? This kind of...
Oh, come on, even I could foreshadow that Trump was going to do something stupid.
Well, Trump doing something stupid is fine, but I mean, actually, something as destructive to NATO.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But the thing I'm more concerned about, what about the people of Greenland?
In deep fucking trouble, mate. I mean, the American military base is quite small, so they've got 100 people there, but...
I can understand, obviously countries have military bases elsewhere due to alliance agreements and everything else. But wanting to literally take over somewhere, basically without, well, he says hopefully without war, military use.
No, but he said very clearly he has intent to use military.
He said only if needs be.
But the reality, the fact that he's even discussing it to a NATO ally, an 80-year-old ally.
Literally, Greenland just wants to be their own. Let alone anything to do with Denmark. I know Denmark helps them run it. I think Denmark's more the bank behind Greenland than anything
To be fair, Denmark used to be the sovereign territory of Greenland. And over the years, much like Canada was with Britain in the early 50s and 60s, where Canada became a dominion just by necessity, Greenland's heading in the same kind of cultural direction.
And before that happens, Trump's trying to lay his footprint on it.
Yeah. I think we live in very unprecedented times. From my point of view, I think we are looking at the very, very end of everything that we have taken for granted for the last 80 years. And we are entering a much more dangerous world where, let's be fair, where the geopolitics, people say the geopolitics of things like Russia, India, China and America will be the big movers and shakers. They won't, because Russia doesn't have the manpower to make that kind of claim. India doesn't have the projection power. China and America, absolutely. China and America definitely have both projection power, manpower, assets, resources to do so. India is a massive power by the virtue of it being in India. It's a billion people of India, but they don't have projection power yet.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they can't. This isn't me taking anything from the future that India could provide, but we are talking as of today. India is not a projected power force. Europe still is. Whether people like it or not, Europe still has, like, there are 5 aircraft carriers in Europe. That's half the US fucking fleet in size.
I'm going to say that one of those is ours, isn't it?
We have one big one, and we have a one that's due to retire. France, I think, has got 1 or 2. Italy's got 1. I don't know if Spain does or not. I think it's between 3 to 5 carriers across Europe. And shit tons of fucking submarines, an unbelievable amount of frigates and corvettes. There's no way people can turn around and say that Russia is the European geopolitical force. It's not. It's just, they've been hollowed out. They're having difficulty fighting Ukraine. They have difficulty providing any kind of projection like they used to when they were in the Soviet age. You see, Soviet Russia converted from Imperial Russia. Imperial Russia was massive, fucking huge. I'm not taking account that the Russians aren't a great power. They are a great power in the sphere of area they are, but that's not Europe. Poland could go toe to toe with fucking Russia, and Poland's not on its own. No one's going to let Poland fight Russia on its own if the Kremlin decide to have a work with Poland.
Poland's fucking building up its military arsenal as it is.
Poland was fucking beefy before they bought everything American could sell them.
Like the fact that Trump has actually said US must acquire Greenland to prevent Russia or China from gaining influence in the Arctic.
That's bollocks. It's absolute bollocks.
More like he wants a stepping stone between himself and the rest.
I think it's more to do with the minerals, the rare earth minerals that are in the ground, because he knows the trade treaties with Africa are fucking up.
It's not that much, well, going by reports, not that much minerals that are actually in Greenland.
There's a fucking vast wealth of untapped resources. Untapped is the important point. They haven't been dug up yet. They haven't been tapped. They haven't been developed. But the developed minerals in Greenland are huge.
Yeah, but then when you dig into it, you may find out that they're not as much as what you was hoping.
I don't think any of the minerals in Greenland are worth the conflict that could brew over it.
It's not enough to sustain what I think he wants.
And certainly not enough to bust his fucking alliance with Europe.
No, if anything, I would have gone into trade deal saying I want some new minerals.
Yeah, of course.
Trade deal would have gone down a lot more.
I think it has a lot to do with the ideology that Donald Trump has about geopolitics. He wants to move away from the early Americans after the Second World War built this current rules-based system. He doesn't believe in it.
So he wants to make his own.
One where geopowers make decisions. And this is America reacting to it not being the sole superpower.
In fact, that he's already turned around and offered to pay Greenlanders to join the US between $10,000 and $100,000 US.
There was a rumour that he wanted his son to marry fucking the Princess of fucking Denmark and make Greenland the dowry.
That's one way to get him in.
Oh man, Jesus Christ!
Hang on, that's a British tactic. Marry into it to gain it. What you want?
I'm just, from my perspective, I'm just horrified at what. I don't know how my cousins in America, as an Irishman, how my cousins are allowing this to happen. How the Republicans are letting this happen.
You're backing him. What you want?
It's madness.
And the Greenlanders already turned around and said they don't want to be Americans.
No,
they want to be their own.
I know. That's a very fundamental point of view.
And the fact that Greenland's future must be decided by the Greenlandic people, which is completely understandable.
I think far more terrifying is that the Danish Prime Minister has turned around and ordered her fucking soldiers to shoot Americans attempting to seize the island on sight. Now, there won't be none of this run away. She's given them standing orders to shoot Americans who vacate their bases and attempt to seize any part of Greenland.
Fucking hell.
She's not fucking around.
Well, she did say that obviously if they tried to take Greenland by military means, it would end NATO.
Yeah, of course it would. Because no, it would end NATO because America would be fighting another NATO country. America would be initiating this, and Denmark would then just issue Article 5. And then the rest of NATO has to decide, are they fighting America or not? And you don't even need to go militarily. America is £17.5 trillion exposed to the European market. something like 17 trillion. If the American economy is dumped by Europe and London, they tank worse than the 1920s.
Damn, they'll lose their status as superpower.
They won't be able to pay for their fucking forces, mate.
No, that's what I mean. They'll lose their status completely.
It would. If Europe doesn't even need to do military reactions, ladies and gentlemen. All Europe needs to do is dump all the financial means that America has into the fucking Atlantic. That's it. That's all.
Cut the financial tether. Sorry, you're gone.
You attacked one of us. Denmark is part of fucking Europe. It's part of NATO. It's a NATO ally. I don't know how the Republicans are backing this. This is fucking madness.
Although, the reaction inside the US, many Republicans and Democrats in Congress oppose the idea, saying Greenland is not for sale and negotiations are pointless.
The problem being is that that's hot air.
Yeah.
He has the means to do it. And the Senate really isn't doing much to stop him. And the House. The House is which is also ran with Republicans. Theoretically, he could invade Greenland today. Theoretically, because he has the means to do so.
His vice president is backing him up. Saying,
J.D. Vance is a fucking gimpoid. J.D. Vance is a gimpoid.
It's saying Trump should be taken seriously. And that the US may act if Europe doesn't take security seriously. Oh, piss off, you bloody blut. You bag of hot air.
Just J.D. Vance is a joke. An absolute joke. He's a gimpoid. He's literally a gimp mask. He's fucking Donald's little talking boy. And the mega movement are smoking something if they think that they can survive as a superpower without Europe. Europe could cease trade, cease as in stop trading with America, and America's superpower status economically is dead. Dead as a fucking doornail. Yes, it would hurt Europe, but Europe's not going to allow integrity, as in land, to be fucking stolen by an ally. I find it absolutely fucking barking crazy that the Republican Party, generally the party of Lincoln, the ones who won the Civil War against slavery, the party of Lincoln, the Republicans were the people who stopped slavery, are contemplating invading an ally of 80 fucking years' land.
Just because of the fact it's a strategic Arctic location.
And it boggles my brain.
I know you've already got a base there, but why not just speak with the people going, look, I want to beef up my security, can I
The problem being is
they've
got enormous leases, Chris.
Yeah.
They've got leases up and down there, like the security issue isn't the conversation. I think it's financial and it's Donald Trump trying to hedge this idea of multipolar society, where America has its hemisphere, China has its, Russia has its, India has its. That's what I think. He's ideologically looking at this, not just financially and militarily. That he believes that there are spheres and everyone should stay in their sphere at this point. And America's day as being the world policeman is over. That's what he's trying to do. And he's succeeding because Europe is basically going to tell him to fuck off very quickly. I think against a united adversary with Russia banging the fucking door down on Ukraine, and let me be fair, Russia's never going to win the Ukrainian war. It's never going to win it. The Ukrainians are going to continue to grind on until Russia collapses. And I think that's very likely. I think because the Ukrainians have got financial backing from Europe, I think that at some point things like international brigades might get involved. I think that the European front in the Ukraine is going to destroy any form of Russia being a world power if the Russians don't come to a sensible kind of negotiation.
Didn't it come to a negotiation at one point and it went wrong?
It's been going wrong constantly because either Putin doesn't want it or the Ukraine don't want it. The Ukrainians want their entire homeland. I'm like, would you give up Wales as a British man? Would you give up Wales? You see what I'm saying? I wouldn't either. I'm not Irish, but you know what I'm saying? Or let's say the outer islands of Scotland.
It's the fact that all it takes is for us to drive like what, about half hour.
Yeah.
And we're in Wales.
Half
hour to an hour, and we're in Wales.
Yeah. Standing in Britain, arming up, across the border into Wales. That's literally what's going to happen. And I'm telling you, the Ukrainians are not going to back down. Yeah, they might accept the loss of Crimea. You see, a Crimea deal could be possibly on the table, where Russia owns Crimea, where it's recognised. He's not keeping Donbass. This is going to go on decades. This is going to go on. The Ukrainians have this national identity and they're going to stick to it. And it's going to fuck Russia horrifically. It doesn't matter what Europe says. It doesn't matter what America says. The Ukrainians are going to keep fighting. If you know anything about the Ukrainian people, you know that this conflict is going to continue.
Well, it seems like they still haven't backed down.
Yeah, they've told Trump multiple times to fuck off. Politely, but to fuck off.
It's him trying to be the big boy, isn't it?
I can solve wars whilst trying to annex my allies. Motherfucker.
Just burn the candle at both ends.
It boggles my brain that this man is still president this far into his second term. I'm surprised he hasn't been impeached. Because of the damage he's doing internationally. America is going to lose its international status because of Donald Trump. Instead of a possible graceful exit of being the only single world superpower, which is what America's frightened of losing, and it has lost, relatively speaking.
There's conspiracy theories that Trump's going to be the last president because he's getting the US. If he gets impeached, his followers might start a civil war. People are talking about that. Like I said, if the next, I don't know when the next American elections are, but when the next American elections come, if the Democrats win the House and the Senate, he's fucked. He will be impeached. He will. There are Republicans who are angry with him. Damn.
There are sensible Republicans that we know that are angry with him and what ICE has done, just on a domestic level.
Yeah.
If the Democrats win the House and the Senate, he's fucked. He's royally fucked because he will be impeached. He'll be the first properly impeached president in what, 50 years?
Roughly that, yeah.
You'd have to go back to the Watergate series to know when the last major impeachment was. I just find the whole scenario of what we're going through right now to be, you're living in real history here, Britain, and we need to decide where we are. Because I, for one, as an Irishman, cannot sit there and agree to be in the fucking camp of Donald Trump talking about stealing Greenland. Because what's next? Fuck. I want to take over Belfast. Fuck off. Do you know what I'm saying?
I was going to say, after Greenland is us. What are you
Iceland.
It's the UK.
It's actually Iceland. Yeah, Iceland then us. I mean, do you understand what I'm saying? I have a problem with the conceptual position that America you're going in, and you need to pay attention to how bad this is for you on an international scale. Fucking Jesus.
It's just anything that you're trying to think you can gain advantage of. It's nothing that can't be negotiated with the Greenlandic people. Although you've already pissed off the people that back Greenland, so good luck.
I mean, it's not just Denmark. The problem being is Denmark has, like France has made very quiet assertions that they are in the Danes park. They've told the Danes, even the Prime Minister, 2 nuclear fucking powers. We may be small nuclear powers, but we are still nuclear fucking powers. It only takes 1 British nuclear weapon and one of the US fleets are gone. You don't even need to aim it at cities.
No, you just take out strategic...
Fifth Fleet,
points.
Gone. Literally, 1 nuclear strike and it's gone. It doesn't matter if it doesn't kill everybody aboard. The EMP shockwave will take out the Fifth Fleet.
No, I was going to say, yeah, a couple of small nukes and you can disable America completely.
Yeah, as a world power. It only takes 1 British or French submarine to pop up and bang, your fucking fleet's gone. Gone.
And no, so probably freaking do a dual attack. Britain takes 1 part, French takes another part.
It only takes, Chris, they can't even lose 1 fleet. They cannot financially.
Yeah, but we would be the one we go, no, we're just going to stomp this straight foot. They would just take out 2 and just completely...
Because America relies so heavily on their fleets protecting the trade lanes that move, that generates them vast amounts of money. To lose 1 fleet would to collapse the American economy. So the way I see this is if this conflict continues down the road it's going, you've got the European soft approach, cease trading with America completely. Eject America's bases from Europe, including the ones in Britain. You're looking at the collapse of between 7 and 10 trillion overnight. 7 to 10 trillion.
That's enough to
that'll nuke any economy on any part of the world.
And then just launch a nuke and take out the fleet at the same time and bang, you're done. I'd go one step further and take out their air force as well.
Without their carriers, they can't get to Europe. 976 billion in goods. That's not the companies owned. 1.5 trillion in goods and services in 2024. That's just goods and services. That's not including the companies they own. Just the loss of that trade would collapse America. Just because they don't have, they're trillions in debt. Trillions and trillions in debt.
I don't get how such a big places in America haven't become self-sustaining.
Because it's the business model. The corporate business model that America runs on doesn't allow self-sustaining.
Because
it's a consumption.
It's fucking land.
Yeah, no, it's self-consumption. It's a consumptionist society.
Because I could guarantee you probably go to America and then go to one of the more remote places, and I can guarantee you'll probably find cities and towns completely self-sustained.
30% of the world, of the 43% of the global GDP, the world's trade, 43% of it runs between Europe and America.
Fuck.
43% of the world's trade runs between America and Europe. That's severed. America's fucked as a power. Europe isn't a power. Yes, it will financially hurt us. Yes, Europe will suffer, but not to the stage that America does.
We'll just double down and just reinforce ourselves. And
do you understand? We're already declining powers working together. We're already managing decline as Europeans. America is not. The severance of 40% of the GDP trade is a blow that the American empire will not survive. I don't think that the president is working out the consequences of his actions. I don't think he understands the retaliatory actions that could become.
Obviously, regarding Greenland's sovereignty, us, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, and Spain have already backed it.
Of course, absolutely. And two of those are fucking nuclear powers.
And Germany a nuclear power?
No.
No.
No, and Germany doesn't have a single nuclear weapon. It's only us and France.
Yeah, but then that's backed by Germany, which could be an absolute massive military force, followed by Poland with their little stockpile.
Fucking Poland's the largest ground army in Europe.
Yeah, I would say friggin' 2 nuclears plus two heavy hitters in just army anyway.
I'm almost certain.
I'm sorry, Italy and Spain, but
Turkey and Poland. My apologies, Turkey and Poland.
We just need to get Turkey in that mix, and we're good then, aren't we?
Turkey has a huge ground force, fucking huge, and Poland is becoming one of the most advanced armies. We have the largest navy and projection power in Europe, next to France. France and England are the projector powers of Europe, and have been for decades.
So we're the ones that can sit home and just take everyone on from sat on our butts.
Not without consequences. That's the critical point. That's where geopolitics has a push back and forward. It's not sit on our asses as Europeans. But the reality is a conflict between America and Europe is a lose-lose. It's a lose for us, absolutely. Let's not hold it, but the lose from America's
will be far greater.
Yeah, absolutely.
We would take the hit and carry on. America would take the hit and won't recover.
I think the proxy that you said that the rumours that he'll be the last president is absolutely right. I do think we are seeing the presidential collapse of America.
Oh, so it's a conspiracy theory.
I don't even think it's a conspiracy theory. That's the crazy thing, Chris.
Because that lines up with the Simpsons bloody predictions.
I don't even think, because the way he's behaving, if the Democrats arrest him, the megas might protest, and then the Democrats get the fucking army on the streets, and we are looking at a civil war in America. At which point, their carriers don't mean shit, as their country is infighting. It astounds me and terrifies me that our cousins across the Atlantic are, it's mad. I'm boggling my brain on why America thinks this is the right time. The security risk is non-existent. China and Russia are not going to seize Greenland. That would start a nuclear fucking war with France and Britain. They know that. They're not idiots.
It's the fact that of them two gaining influence within the Arctic, but I'm not quite sure how they would gain influence.
Yeah, that's what boggles me as well.
Because of the fact, even if they were
The Greenlanders don't want to be part of fucking Denmark. What makes you think they're going to be fucking want to be dealing with Russia and China?
I was going to say, they don't want America there anyway. They want to come away from Denmark and be their own thing. So what makes you think that Russia and China have even got a chance of even negotiating anything with them? If China has anything to do with it, it would more likely be a business deal, which Greenland would be like,
Greenland might actually take it. You don't.
Might
we don't
possibly take it because of the fact that if it's a business deal that benefits Greenland without destroying other alliances and trade deals, they're more likely to take it. And I'm sorry, Trump, but you got no power there. It's threaten all you want.
He said that we will do it the easy way or the hard way. He added. The White House said recently that the administration is considering buying the semi-autonomous territory off fellow NATO member Denmark, but it would not rule out the option of annexing it by force. You will smash NATO. You will end NATO. You will lose your military bases in Europe. You will lose your trade in Europe. That is not worth Greenland. I'm sorry. Cousins, you need to deal with your president. I'm begging you. Someone needs to say something in the Republican Party.
If you go that way, you would instantly have UK, France, Germany, Italy, Poland, and Spain, and Denmark, and probably countless others turn around backing up frigging Greenland.
It's a terrifying point of view to hold, because if the response is only economical, America's economics collapses. 40% of the fucking world trade runs between Britain and Europe. Europe and America. 40% of the world trade runs between those two. If their response is only economical,
the way he's going about it is completely wrong.
Yeah, complete.
If it is, as you said, economical, so business standpoint, he is a businessman because he obviously has reached vast amounts of wealth. Use your business brain then instead of trying to think, oh, I'm the president, I'll use military.
As I said, I think it's an ideological position. I'm on this opinion that he has moved away from this one world order where he's no longer the great power that they used to be. And America's Republicans, at least, or hardcore Republicans, I don't even know if it's the whole Republican Party. I think it's unfair to blame the entire Republican Party. But I think it's a hardcore section of the Republican Party go, why the fuck are we doing this? Why are we propping up a world order where China is constantly catching us, leg by leg? So let's stop propping up the world order and deal with our own hemisphere and our own power base. And I think that's where some element of the Republicans have come to. And the damage of that ideological position, because I think they're under the assumption that nothing will respond from that from Europe.
Yeah.
But there will be. If America entirely disappears, in politics, people hate vacuums. Society hates vacuums.
It'll be filled.
It will be filled. So whether we eventually have an agreement with China on security measures, whether there is a European security network put into place.
I feel European security.
Yeah, so do I.
Yeah.
The Russian problem will be settled. It's a matter of when, not if. The problem being is Russia doesn't realise that it doesn't have the means to pursue further than the Ukraine. I don't think
they're struggling against Ukraine. If they try taking anyone else, they're done for.
Yeah. No, we're all done for because then it results to nukes. Because if Putin knows he's about to fucking be toppled.
Yeah, but that's where we'll just turn around and EMP the fucker.
See, I don't know how advanced our EMP technology is. That's a really critical point. Unless the modern British laser tanks can shoot down nukes and ballistic missiles, and I don't think they can, we shouldn't play fucking games with MAD. That's why they call it mutual assured destruction. We need to develop those laser tanks frigging quickly. Yeah, of course, absolutely. But I fundamentally feel that
that's taken into next generation warfare.
Yeah, it is, and we're already approaching that as it is. But as I see it, I genuinely feel that the European theatre, specifically over the Ukrainians, will likely lead towards a fundamental change in world politics. Because
it's changing anyway.
Yeah.
It's going to change on the Russian front because of the fact of their actions with Ukraine. Well, it looks like Mr. Trump is nuking America, not nuking America, imploding America anyway. At this rate, the only two ones that are literally going to sustain themselves afterwards is going to be Europe and China. With India picking up the foothold of supplies, maybe. Even more than what they are now.
I fundamentally find that Trump is barking. He's barking fucking crazy.
Right, Mr. Trump, the hemispheres you're thinking of, yeah, one's already imploding itself with Ukraine. You're following the same direction by trying to take Greenland, yeah, leaving the other 3 to 4.
Well, I mean, if Europe would be a global power if it could get its shit together. And
if you keep pushing it, I know for a fact Europe will pull its shit together and start sorting shit out.
I think that's the scary thing. This could be the cruxus that forces Europe to unify properly.
About frigging time.
India has no projection power, but she is a power in her own region. So I don't want people to assume I'm criticising the Indians.
I think India would be the power of supply.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until they have their own projectionable ability.
Yeah. India will become the most dominant power of supply next to China. Will become more likely the power of security.
I don't know. I don't think the Europeans have really in them to actually start doing America's job. Because America polices all the trade lanes.
I reckon us British will turn around and take up that slack until the others start falling.
You've got to be joking. We ain't got anywhere near the carriers.
And I know for a fact we'll end up making it work somehow.
With what?
Well, if America...
No, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you're wrong. No, we have the experience.
If America collapses financially, yeah, we just buy their aircraft carriers.
Chris, do you know how much it costs to fuel those fucking things?
Don't give a flying shit. We could get it cheap because they're fucking broke anyway. And then we literally just...
Chris, no. Chris, ignore the fact... Say you could buy a US carrier group cheap. Let's say you could. Hypothetically. You buy the whole carrier group dirt cheap because America's broke. Fueling the fucking things costs more than the British economy. Okay, any one of these... There's a reason America is trillions in fucking debt right now.
Why not make it self-sustaining and put a nuclear reactor on?
They are nuclear reactors!
How the fuck is it costing money then?
Because they've got fighter jets and fuels and those aircraft carriers that carry 2,500 people anywhere in the world.
We need to upgrade our energy situation.
Jesus Christ! Running a carrier group is monstrously fucking expensive, mate.
Not just one of them then, instead of God knows the entire fleet will help, won't it?
You can't run the world trade on one fleet. If you could, Britain would do it now.
It would just be one more fleet to our own, so technically we'd have 2.
America fleet cost to run. Let's have a look. Annually, just it's about $300,000 an hour, Chris. Just one carrier, and these aren't the big. That isn't the big fleets, mate. That's 300 to fucking grand an hour. It's 10 billion annually for a normal surface fleet, and that's not their big ones. That's not one of the big ones. 6 to 8 million per day, 300 grand an hour.
Someone please look into these fleets and actually make them more economically viable.
Just.
I know people are going to turn around and say, well, are you meant to make military expense economically viable? Why do you expect to defend yourself?
The key point, Chris, is the personnel. Personnel costs a monstrous amount. Remember, each of those carrier groups are 10 to 20,000 people at sea. Because you're not just dealing with the carrier. You've got the destroyers, you've got the escorts, so the carrier itself is a few thousand people, and you've got hundreds of people on each of these ships. And these fleets walk around and protect world trade. Running an F-22 Raptor is 68 grand a fucking hour. An hour.
Per flight hour.
F-38, 28 to 30 grand per hour. F-16 workhorse, the cheap fucking man's fighter jet, 8 grand an hour, Chris. These carrier groups are monstrously fucking expensive. If they were cheap, I promise you the Americans would be doing it because they love their money. The nuclear reactor power carriers are very, very affordable, absolutely. But it's the jet fuel of all of those fucking fighters making sure these trade lanes are safe. I think people don't understand the enormous cost America gives to the world in trade. Let's be fair, in protecting the trade. They do. They really do. So there is a justifiable reason why a lot of the trade comes to America. There really is. The upkeep...
Is there that many pirates on the seas?
It's not pirates. It's not even pirates. Without American security guarantees, whole sections of the trading world would collapse. Because people wouldn't feel it viable to shift it. Say you're moving vast amounts of cargo, not even piracy. So you've got these big fucking cargo haulers. You're moving across, one of them breaks down, it's the American Navy that's coming to rescue you. The British Navy, and that's a British cargo hauler. A British cargo hauler leaves Belfast, halfway across the Atlantic, the British Navy ain't coming to get you. You're fucked if you're waiting for the British Navy.
Damn.
Because we don't have the projection power.
We need to increase our projection power before America snuffs it.
Chris, I don't think that's even possible. We don't have the raw materials to build the resources we need. We're talking multiple tons. Britain has a handful of frigates, 6 or 7 corvettes, 1 aircraft carrier, about, I think, 4 destroyers. It's a fleet, definitely. Yes, it can deter most other fleets around the world except America. Oh yeah, we've got multiple nuclear submarines. That's the. I left that elephant in the room. What I'm saying is, we're not the. You couldn't rescue a cargo freighter in the middle of the Atlantic. So if you're a cargo freight captain or cargo freight owner, are you going to take the risk if your ships can't be recovered? Or are you going to jack up your prices? You jack up your prices, it costs more for consumers. The consumers therefore don't want to purchase, they'll purchase local. Trade routes will die without the US carrier fleets. That's something I need to say out loud. The whole fucking trade routes moving through the Atlantic and the Pacific will absolutely dry up, including Chinese ones, if the US implodes. Let's be very, very clear about this. And imploding America is bad for the world, categorically. I'm not saying I want any of that. I'm saying that that could happen. If America does implode, if Donald Trump is impeached and the megas decide to riot and declare civil war.
Could we then not strike up deals with our surrounding countries so each of us take a section of water and protect it?
Do you know the framework of that hasn't even been started?
How has that not been started?
Because America has provided. Do you not understand? Europe is the first experimental stage of international groupings that cooperate on all things like trade, commerce. Like Africa is only just getting its shit together with the African unions, and they're not fucking perfect. You've got BRIC, which is in the South American alliance, which Russia and China are part of. Yeah, there are smaller groups that are doing this, but they're not going to replace America. None of them.
We need to.
America collapses economically.
We need to get that framework where my train of thought, because obviously UK and Europe and all that, like, we're all basically connected on one massive landmass. Each part protects / governs the little bit of water that's outside theirs. So then you are doing massive cargo hauls from UK to China or China to UK, whichever way around it goes. Yeah, you then got that part, that specific country guarding that bit of water. So if you break down, you can then turn around and ring Russia, ring France, ring Spain, Italy, all that lot to come help you fix the boat. Because if the US implodes,
the US implosion, global trade would shrink by 77%. Is a projection. Global, not just Europe, but global. The fucking world's trade across the entire planet.
It's our own fault becomes so reliant on one bit.
The world has. There's no question about that.
We need to. I'm sorry.
China, Russia, Europe do not have the means today. Do not have the means. None of them. Neither China, Russia, or Europe have the means to do what America's doing right now in a trade sense, in the protection of the world trade.
What's the betting Trump's going to throw that in the ring if he doesn't start getting his way with Greenland?
At that point, I think it's a game of chicken, and the Danish and the Europeans will call his bluff. That's what I'm thinking. I think if that comes to be a thing,
he's trying to roll a card which he's hoping he's win, but by looks of it, more likely lose.
I think he's going to lose it. I don't think. I think this is a line that Denmark will not allow to be crossed. I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think Denmark will allow it to be crossed. I don't think the rest of NATO will allow it to be crossed.
You see, Canada is already building trade relations with Europe in terms of arms trades.
Canada, let's speed up the process so you can start taking some of the shit away from you at US.
You've got to understand the geopolitical shifts. The trade in the Pacific would collapse horrifically, because America still represents more than 80% of the Navy policing in the Pacific. Could France and Britain carry any of the slack of the Atlantic trade? Maybe. If we really got our shit together. Russia couldn't. Russia doesn't have the shipbuilding means. This is one of these things when people say, oh, Russia and China will take up. China has the shipbuilding means, but China's going to focus on the Pacific. China is not going to come over and save the Atlantic trade.
No, they're going to focus on the Pacific.
Of course, absolutely, because that's their back door. That's where they're going to start.
Yeah.
The Pacific will be recoverable in 10 or 15 years. Remember, China has only a single carrier at the moment. Is it one carrier? I think so.
China would take out the one end. Europe would have to pick up the slack on the other. It won't be to the same extent US, but...
Oh no, it has 3 active carriers. My apologies, China. I do apologise. The 𝐿𝐮, the Shandong, and the Fujis. No. That's worse. They're due to have 14. They're planning. I think it was someone said that they were planning on like 14 of the fucking things.
Hang on. So they've got 3, building a 4th, and they plan on building 10 more.
Yeah, no, that's it. China aims to have a total of 9 aircraft carriers by 2035. So within a decade. Now, I don't believe China will reach the 16 carrier groups that America has. Fucking huge amount of carrier fleets that America has.
Yeah, but are they more self-sustaining than what the American ones are?
No.
So it's another thing that's just pouring money into a black hole.
It's the funny thing is, as I warn everybody, China has not advanced carrier technology to the point where they are less expensive than the American carriers.
So it's just pouring money into another black hole.
Remember, the first Chinese carrier is a training and research centre, the CV-16. It bought it from the Ukraine's Union Prime Minister's training research. The Shandong, the Chinese first domestically built carrier, similar to the 𝐿𝐮, but is improved. And the Fusheng, China's most advanced carrier, features electromagnetic catapults for launching aircraft, unlike the sky jumps of the first 2. So, I mean, their third carrier is the CV-18 is probably a proper carrier. First one's a trainee, the other one's a prototype. So they've got 1 proper carrier. They're planning on having 9.
I'm hoping they advance it every single time.
Maybe, maybe not. But what I am going to say is the Type 004 is reportedly under construction, with some reports suggesting it will be a nuclear power, because none of those other carriers are nuclear powered. So China's not even leaving the fucking Chinese Sea at this point. Because those aren't nuclear powered carriers that China's using.
Yeah.
The first 3. So it sounds good that China has 9 carriers for a world order point of view. It's not, because 3 of them, one of them's a trainee one of them's the prototype that they've started building on. Their third one that's using electromagnetic catapults, which is cool, fantastic, but it's not necessarily as saving financially as you think. So in terms of combat capacity, I would argue China has 1, maybe 2 carriers. Because the trainee carrier really, you don't call a trainee carrier a fucking carrier, relatively speaking.
It's one to help pick up the slack when one struggles.
Yeah. And their 4th carrier, the Type 04, is supposed to be a super carrier with nuclear power. It's their first. And their aim is probably 9 aircraft carriers by 2035. But that's only the Pacific. That won't project to Europe. There will be carrier forces of China and Europe, mate.
Oh no, it's obviously, we need all this protection now. What's obviously transport and cargo.
Europe needs to build at least 3 to 4 carrier groups.
What about in the older days where it was just old standard wooden ships?
Because those risks were taken by non-multinationals. They were taken by individual captains boldly going out into the seas.
So people that wanted to
explore and see the world and then trade. And
and
remember, Chris, the trade value back then was vastly different. You can't build Britain on that trade line. The 70 million Britons would not be able to sustain on our wooden shipping kind of trade. Cargo's less, the risk is far higher. Society is far unpredictable. The length of time it takes the cargo to come in and out is measured in months, not weeks.
Damn.
And the whole economical train could fall down around the world, relatively speaking, if America's carrier fleets were to fall apart. And an American Civil War could lead to that. That's the frightening fucking thing. An American Civil War could lead towards, and the idea that Trump won't be arrested is oxymoron. If the Democrats win the House and the Senate, Trump will be arrested. I can almost because he's angered so many of the Democrats. Remember, he's invaded their cities with ICE, sent National Guard to protect these ICE agents.
For God's sake.
So I'm telling you to your face, there are Democratic, there are hardcore growing numbers of Democrats in the southern states now, in the Republican heartlands. There are literal big bearded fucking trucking looking guys from the south saying that they'll never vote Republican again. I was watching some videos about them recently.
America, you're going down the freaking panhole.
Of course you are. Of course, and they know they are. And the American debt. Let's get onto this because this is a key factor that people don't realise.
It's in the trillions, obviously.
The US debt right now is at 38.4 trillion. Amount grows daily due to the government spending more than it collects, with recent increasing driven by factors like pandemic response, tax cuts, and rising interest rates. These figures represent the cumulative total of the government borrowing and continue updated by the Treasury near 39 trillion by the early March 2026, if trends continue according to Congress Joint Commerce. It gained 2 trillion in 2025 alone. That's double Britain's entire debt in 1 year.
Fuck.
Our debt is about 1 point something. We have a monstrous debt for the size of our country. I think it's 1.5, 1.6 trillion that we owe.
Fucking hell.
And in 1 year, America doubled it, doubled Britain's debt in growth. They're almost reaching a point where they have to spend $1 trillion just paying off the interest to their debts.
Fucking hell.
How much? Let's have a look. I know people are quite surprised how much interest is the US debt. It's 126 billion a year currently. They're just paying for interest 126 billion a year.
Can you pay me 126 billion? What is the freaking world economy like? It's the fact that the one that's meant to be, the one that's clearly propping up trade,
protecting the trade and everything, yeah.
Protecting the trade is going literally.
This is why the idea of wooden boats and trade just won't do it in today's economy.
I was thinking more the premise, and not necessarily use wooden boats.
Yeah.
That they're literally gaining trillions in debt each year. Not necessarily, obviously, all through
because the American government,
how much they're spending.
The American government is alien to the idea of ever putting taxes on their corporate leaders. America could probably pay off half its debts very quickly if they were willing to manage their taxes properly. Neither Democrats nor Republican presidents or senators.
I'm noticing a theme here, people. Everything's coming around to tax.
Fix your fucking taxes. Me and Chris tell you all the fucking time. Fix your fucking tax.
I think fix your tax isn't just a UK thing. I think it's a global thing by the signs of it.
It is.
Well, especially in the Western world anyway.
Absolutely. Fix your fucking tax system. Clear it up. Make sure that companies pay their dues.
I'm not quite sure what China and everyone else do with it.
China doesn't let their fucking companies get away with no tax. Are you mad?
I was going to say, I bet China friggin' makes
China and India and Russia will not allow a company to run around tax-free. Are you off your fucking trolley?
We need to take...
It's not... No, because the world in general shouldn't do it. The West is fucking backward. That corporations are given no tax.
I say we need to take a leaf out of China and Russia's book.
They took a leaf out of the Venetians and many of the early Western corporate leaders. that were doing this before we decided, oh, low tax for every fucking company.
Who the fuck decided that?
Neocons.
Are they
the political
ideas anyway?
They're the current people running our countries.
Yeah. So the people that are literally running the governors, yeah. I want to pay no tax. Just make it a thing.
Neoconservatism's meaning. Towards denouncing a return to a model formed of a traditional viewpoint, in particular political ideology characteristic by an emphasis of free market capitalism. That's the important fact. Free market capitalism is the code word for as low as tax as we can get.
Emphasis on the word free there. I know all of us enjoy free stuff. I'm not going to deny a bit of free shit every now and again. It's a nice little morale boost. But when it starts affecting the fact that you start going into debt instead of actually...
horrific levels of debt.
Instead of actually maintaining a proper society, especially economy, that needs to be scrapped.
But like I said, when you look at Britain's economy, Chris, we are I think we're 1.5 or 2 trillion in debt. America is 38 fucking trillion, and it grew double the British debt in 1 year.
I'm screaming over our debt, because if I become Chancellor, trust me, there'll be some harsh shit going on.
The way you do it is you restructure the tax system. You make companies pay. You make them.
Yeah, I would.
And the Western world has got this deranged idea that corporations should not pay taxes.
I would push it through parliaments with such...
You do it at gunpoint. You literally threaten to sack entire sections of your own party. You bring down such discipline that the breaking rank involves you being fired from the party. You're a city MP, you're an independent. That's how you deal with it. And you threaten that to everybody. These tax systems have to come in. You have to murder neocon conservative free marketing because it has died a death. You know? The Second World War saved it. And neocon financial marketing, the free market capitalism that we lived in, is all but dead. It's a spent force. It's a majorly spent force. I'm not even a communist or a socialist. It's a spent force by the virtue of the fact it cannot continue down the path it's going.
It isn't self-sustaining.
It's not self-sustaining. So I mean, that's the important fact. I'm not even somebody who believes in far left economics. Because I think Plensky and what's his name of the U Party, Jeremy Corbyn, are a little bit out there when it comes towards economy.
Economics is basically a business.
Yeah.
Regardless of which way you look at it. Because the fact is, you run a business, you need to make sure in order for you to make profit or break even, you need to make sure everything is in order and everything else so it's self-sustaining. Yeah. Most
world companies today Chris, are not self-sustaining. Most of them are borrowing. They remember that you see on social media a lot. So many corporations use debt like it's a form of currency. They borrow on assets and then have the assets pay themselves back, and yet have the shares and the ownership of it, and then do it again and do it again, and they generate their cash but almost never pay off their debts.
I wonder why we're all in debt.
Yeah. Corporate society does not believe that debt is a bad thing.
We should be living in positive growth, not negative growth.
It's a madness. It's an absolute madness, and that's why that's why the West is facing this horrific collapse.
I feel as if negative growth is a form of control.
I just think that we need to really examine how we are operating as Western society, especially here in Britain and in Europe. We need to be unafraid now to take a deep look at neoconservatism and a deep look at our society and how we govern our society and how we pay our debts. 2 trillion is affordable for Britain to pay. It is affordable. It's expensive, but it's affordable.
With some extreme belt tightening and restructuring within the tax system, i.e. burn the other one to the ground and rebuild, you'd be able to do it quite nicely. Because it doesn't just...
2.9 trillion, nearly 3, representing 95 to 96% of our GDP. Yeah.
The fact that you can take it all the way from the very house you live in all the way up to the top. Yeah, very simple. You need to be bringing in more than what you're spending straight off the bat, how is that not understood? Yet hence the reason why people turn around and look at other people in gobsmack and awe when they realise, hang on, they bought the house, they bought the car, they got no debt. They're literally working just to live, not living to work. Which is what everyone should be striving for.
Moving to budget surplus, faster economy growth, cutting spending, raising taxes, fostering growth, shrinking debits. The British budget, the British economy could theoretically be turned around entirely. It is within turnaround ability. AI, normal online AI, does not know how you pay off the American debt. It can give you an idea of how to pay off the French, the British. France knows more than we do. The German debt, the Polish debt. It tells you that. It cannot calculate how to pay off the American debt.
Hang on. So AI has already turned around, been given the task of how would you clear
the British debt? No, it's just done that for us.
Out, and it's already formulated a plan of how you could do that. Yeah. As soon as it looks into America, it, as I call it, comes up with error code.
Of course, because America's debt is huge. Fucking trillions and trillions more than its own base economy.
I'm sorry, but going by that, I just imagine I literally can relate it down to the simplest household scenario for you. Yeah, 3 people. Obviously, you got the 2 parents, and then
America's debt is 124% of its GDP.
That's basically
it's over its base GDP by 124%.
If we bring this down as a call into the household, yeah, say the entire household was bringing in 60,000 a year, yeah. Which I think actually most households do these days. Yeah. And you're literally spending 70 grand a year. So you're spending more than what you're bringing in. Yeah.
By 10 grand a year.
By 10 grand a year. I can tell you now, very quickly, within 2 to 3 years, you would lose your house, you lose your car, you lose fucking everything. Yeah.
Not necessarily. If you're making 60 grand as a household and you're 10 grand over, for 2 to 3 years, you could probably squeeze it. You could probably, 2 to 3, you probably could.
Well, at least within 5, you literally
start. You said 2 to 3.
Yeah.
2 to 3, you could possibly, you'd have to make a reverse somewhere. You must be reversing in those 2 to 3.
Yeah.
So like the first one be 10, second one 8,
yeah, but that's,
third one 5.
I'm going by the case of
continual 10, you're fucked by year 4.
Literally 2-3 years of continual 10 without any prospect of trying to rein it in, you're screwed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then if you turn around and go, first year 10, second year I'll bring it down to 5, third year I'll bring it down to 3. You're making progress and slowly building off that thing. But the main question is, why are you spending that 10 grand extra on the first year?
Just the idea.
I can understand up to 1,000 more, because obviously emergency expenses and everything else, because you can pull that in within a couple of months.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, most people earn a salary between £1,200 to £1,700 a month as a single individual.
I think that's been bumped up slightly more due to the Europe.
Yeah, but it's between 12, depending on what hours you work, it's between £1,200 and £1,700 a month that a general Briton can earn on a non-skilled, non-professional wage.
I think it's between 12 and 2,000 though.
1,200
to 2,000.
1,200 to 2,000. Yeah. It used to be 1,700, but what I'm trying to get at is, if you're only £1,000 overspent in a year, you can recover that
within a couple of months easy.
Yeah. The problem that we have is that though Britain has a monstrous, like I said, the AI can build a model. It'd be a horrible model. But if you took AI and it gave you a blow-by-blow plan for you to bring the British economy down, and you were merciless with that and used it, you could probably do it in a single parliament. It'd be horrible. People would be screaming at us. But if you had the discipline to be able to make that happen,
I'd be straight up and up front on the first day. Right, I've got an AI model which is going to turn around and it's going to wipe our GDP to freaking equal by the time I finish parliamentary process, by my parliamentary turn.
Because me and you would have a fight, because I'd need money to stimulate the economy, and you'd say I can't have any.
I'd literally turn around and go,
Mr. Prime Minister, need to justify why I'm spending 40 fucking billion, because I want that going on our debt, because I want to build houses to stop a housing crisis, you cunt. But that's hard assets. That's the thing. I'm not spending 40 billion on debts. Do you know what I'm saying? Not 40 billion. 40 billion on wasting money, like some kind of programs. The amount of waste Britain has, the amount of financial waste we have on our economy is unfucking real.
I would be merciless, and I'll just turn and go, it's going to be a hard year.
It's going to be hard 4 years. That's
hard 4 years. Everything's going to stagnate, but at the end of it, we'll then be in a nice little decent position where we can then invest that money, turn around, build new houses, build this, build that, and I'm not wasting money on this, that, or that, and I'm writing it into law. I'd be absolutely evil, but when I snuff
we lose billions annually through public sector fraud. Anywhere between 39 to 58.8 billion. Ineffective spending on projects without proven results, hundreds of billions across major projects, local government mismanagement, 8.8 billion lost to fraud, waste, and questionable schemes like paying higher interests to bank on reserves, with estimated suggesting 27 billion year costs. If you just controlled that, took away all the waste, which is approximately about 300 billion, and then took the waste money and put it into our debts, you just cut waste, put to debt, would do an enormous fucking level, probably without even shrinking anything else.
So
30 to 50. So let's say 30.
Literally trimming the fat.
Yeah, no, trimming all fat, because this is horrific levels of waste.
No, that's what I mean. Trimming the fat. You literally turn around going, I'm only going to allow 1% fat. Rest of it's gone. Would create 300 million.
300 billion. Yeah. Local government 8.8, government-wide 50, so that's like 60, 120 in skeletal spending. You'd recover 300 billion. And you wouldn't need to touch anything else. You wouldn't need to look at like cutting finances, cutting any kind of facilities, just stop the fucking waste.
Yeah, but I'd go through absolute everything and trim the fat.
Yeah, but just taking away the waste.
Yeah.
Just the waste gives you 300 billion in your pocket.
Yeah, think how much more I'd get if I turned around and went through every system and eliminated all the nonsense. Like,
we don't touch, because they say scrapping the Nimrod aircraft project alone was waste 4 billion delays and overruns. Noted declassified UKs. I wouldn't do that. That's a defence project. We make that work. Because in this, because in this current geopolitical world, we are not in the mood for fucking around with national defence. That's something you don't do. This is not the 1990s or the 2000s.
I would go through, trim the fat, and the money would be poured into
fix that military shit.
Housing and defence.
Housing, defence, maybe. No. I'd only put 100 billion. I'd let you keep the 200 billion out of the fact that you recover to pay off the fucking debts.
Yeah, and the debts.
Yeah. Two-thirds of that goes straight into the debt. Split
it 3 ways. Obviously, how much which ways? Obviously, housing, defence, debt. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Over 50% of that will be the debt.
Yeah, of course, because you could slowly knock it down, and therefore it makes it cheaper for Britain to get to operate financially. You know, you're not so levied up on our fucking GDP.
I say by the time you literally reached, obviously, as a call, where you got a house for everybody, yeah, the defence is where you want it. You then turn around and pull the funding back on that, so it still grows, but not as much. Yeah, and then throw it back into
one of the things AI says: start prosecuting government officials who waste resources. That's one of the fastest. The AI suggests prosecute civil servants and politicians who waste money.
When the thing's literally
because that's not even a thing now. Oh, I've lost 40 billion this year. Oh well, it's taxes. Could you imagine one of our underlings, if we were running a party, to us, I just lost 40 billion, Chancellor? Your hand would appear up my arse. Fire him!
It wouldn't even come out your ass. You just see it come from behind you. You're fired!
Let me check with the Prime Minister. He's fired, yes? 40. There's no consequence for certain ministers and certain civil servants. And that's absurd. And I know we've come to British budget off of the business we're talking about Ukraine and Venezuela and all these problems that we've really suffered here in the United Kingdom. But realistically, this is where the world is. We have used debt and levied up debt so much that the world economy is going to come unraveling. And we as Britons need to start taking real fucking hard looks at how we do business and how we just trim the fat off our country would allow us to pay off our debts within one government. Because if you save 300 billion a year, Chris, we put 100 billion towards houses, defence, and that lot, and you keep the 200. You use 200 billion a year. That's 800 billion by the end of government. You've paid off the 2.9. That's now 2.1 trillion we're in debt, and you did that in one government. And that's just for trimming fat. That's not even taking cuts on anything else.
And then I'll turn around, redo the tax system, make corporations pay, and then watch that drop even more.
Of course, absolutely. You need people to start looking at their finances, at balancing the genuine books that the Tories and the Labour and that fuckwit Nigel Farage.
Instead of raising taxes on us, you fucking muppets.
Fix the tax system. Fix the national tax system across corporations and society in general.
Right, and obviously, before we go, I did obviously do a quick bullet point of the key news from the UK over the past week.
Yep.
Just so you know, we are still doing the UK base as well. We're just covering
this Venezuela business and this Greenland was fucking unavoidable.
With Trump, yeah. Obviously, within the past week, we've obviously had Storm Goretti.
That fucked me. I lost 2 shifts on that.
Yeah, obviously, which has caused disruption up and down.
I lost 2 shifts from that.
Yeah. Obviously, Met Police vetting scandal. I think we'll definitely cover that.
Oh
the
yeah.
Next one.
Yeah. The vetting scandal, especially when they've got criminals physically inside their police force.
It's reports revealed that 2 rapists were among the Metropolitan Police officers.
Ow! Yeah. Someone needs to get fired who hired them.
Fatal crash misidentification. A family was told their teenager son survived the crash, only to learn later he died.
Someone should be fired again.
UK first case, man jailed for selling suicide chemicals.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So someone literally selling stuff that people could turn around and off themselves with.
Remember the bill's going through Parliament now.
Yeah. The
bill's bouncing backwards and forwards recently about the diary dignity bill, because the House of Lords are holding their feet up on it.
Yeah. Obviously, Israel football fans banned controversy.
Oh, no, it's not. The Israel football fans are hooligans.
Yeah. Walkers' rights reform and economic debate. They would definitely be covering that. Labour's workers' rights reform will cost billions less than expected, according to new analysis. Then why the fuck are we prattling around and not doing it? Turnbridge Wells water crisis. Thousands of residents face ongoing water outages, with the supply blaming cold weather. Bullshit.
It's failure to infrastructure.
Yeah. Scotland's severe winter week, obviously due to Storm Goretti. And that's it for the moment.
Yeah.
That's literally the main one.
That's just the catch up for you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for staying. If you've made it all the way to the end, we appreciate everything you do for the subscribers. As always, I'm John, Sean, or Yahya, depends on who you're asking.
I'm Chris. Hope you have a smashing day.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.